Welcome back. All right, finally, time to do a news video. Only took a couple of days. All right, so first off, we'll start off with the New Jersey Devils at the top of the board. And it looks like they're going to go with Allen and Kakinen as their goaltending duo once Allen's all set to go and he's ready to be the starter. And Jake Allen was asked about the three goalie rotation Montreal's employed all year. And he said it was difficult for him. You can't get into a rhythm. So he was playing so regularly that he wasn't able to get into a rhythm. So maybe his numbers will be better with New Jersey. I do have my fingers crossed that New Jersey gets something going before the season's done. There's still enough time left that, I mean, they technically could, right? So we'll see. But it sounds like Allen's glad to be out of there. It sounds like Dawes and Schmid will be allowed to then go down to Utica and tend the net there. So yeah, that's the plan in New Jersey. We'll see how it goes. Maybe Kakinen will bounce back. He had a good run going and then kind of went sideways for him recently, but maybe he can get back into the rhythm of things as well. The Vancouver Canucks, the scariest moment last night, of course, for Canuck fans, being when Demko went down the tunnel. And apparently this was just one of those just nagging things. It doesn't sound like it's major. I was really hoping I'd have more to tell people right now than this. There's a lot of other injuries that are not on the board because honestly we don't know what's going on. So for Florida and other teams, we don't know. Tampa Bay with Chernak, we'll see. Likely that there'll be another news video before the day is done. But Demko, not a whole lot being said. It didn't look major like when he skated off. The thing is, sometimes a goaltender just skates off and looks okay, and then they don't come back for weeks. But the Canucks publicly very happy about how DeSmith has played and very confident in their ability to overcome the injury to Demko. The Flyers, their CEO coming out today and saying whatever fine is levied against John Tortorella, which again we have not seen as of yet, he'll pay it. Tortorella last night, I really felt like the explosion that he had behind that bench was both because I think he was legitimately mad about the way those calls were being done and they weren't being explained to him, but also it takes all the heat and puts it on him. The team was playing terribly, and all we're talking about is Tortorella and his unwillingness to leave when he'd already been kicked out of the game. So, on some level, I think it was a smart play for Tortorella, who does not have these blow-ups behind the bench like he used to. So, I think he was kind of strategic with this a little bit. I'm not saying he wasn't actually angry, but I think it was a good move because it puts the heat on, not necessarily the heat on him, but the attention on him, right? So, we'll see what the fine ends up being, and the CEO saying whatever it is, I'll pay it for him. So, yeah, and there you go. Logan O'Connor is going to be out for the rest of the season for the Colorado Avalanche. He's having season-ending hip surgery. The good news for Colorado and their fans is that is a team with some depth. That is a team that added at the deadline. That's a team that I don't think anybody wants to play in the first round. Would rather see Dallas win the division than end up having to play Colorado in the first round at all because, yeah, don't want Colorado in the first round, even without O'Connor. So hopefully O'Connor's good to go when October rolls around and we're back into the regular season. But he has had season-ending hip surgery. Rick Bowness coming out of last night's game for the Jets saying that was the worst game they've played in 2 years. It's interesting because Canuck fans would probably say, you know what, that's one of the best games the Canucks have played in 2 years. Well, two things can be true. Yeah, once Winnipeg was behind in that game last night, it just felt like the Canucks had it in the bag. Even when the goalie change took place, wasn't a problem. And you would think that they'd take advantage. And hey, you know, Pionk had the rush chance as soon as DeSmith went into the net. But they only had 10 shots on DeSmith altogether. And again, when you've got a goalie going in who didn't expect to, although DeSmith did say Demko gave him a heads up shortly beforehand that he wasn't necessarily 100%, which helped. He said that definitely helped him get ready to go in. But yeah, the Winnipeg Jets, a rough loss. Now you got to bounce back and you know, keep things going because the rest of the schedule isn't any easier than the first part of the schedule. Linus Ullmark. So I've been vocal in the past about Boston management when they make a boneheaded decision. I think any decision to trade Linus Ullmark is a boneheaded decision. I'm really glad Ullmark apparently vetoed a trade out west. The rumor is it was the Kings. And you've got to think Talbot probably would have been going the other way. And whatever else would have been in that deal, right? But Ullmark glad to have stayed, and I think Swayman's glad he stayed as well. I really think that goalie tandem for Boston is important. I'm quite surprised that Ullmark would be available at all because, again, if I had anything to say about it, and I don't, I really, really don't, I wouldn't move one half of what is arguably the best goaltending tandem in the National Hockey League. Wouldn't happen. I don't understand that. Taking your team's biggest strength and deciding to trade it. So Boston didn't end up making big changes to their lineup. I don't think they needed to. And there's certain teams that I don't think going all in made a lot of sense, and I would put Boston in that category as well. One news item I wasn't able to talk about over the last day is the Parker Kelly suspension. So he's already served the first game of that. That was last night. He was suspended 2 games for the check to the head on Andreas Englund. I don't think he was kicked out of the game for that either. I think he was just given 2 minutes. I'm always baffled when a referee calls something a 2-minute power play, or 2-minute penalty, I should say, and then it becomes a suspension after. So the referee should have made it 5 in a game. Does that mean if the referee made it 5 in a game that he would have only been suspended 1 game, or because it was late in the game it still would have been 2? It's just all these things I'd love to ask Department of Player Safety, but they won't return my calls, no matter how hard I try. So I want to talk about Dallas because there's a lot of Stars fans that are all mad at my power rankings, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to look through the recent wins. So yes, they're on a winning streak. And the game against the Jets was impressive. Then they beat the Sharks in a shootout. You shouldn't need a shootout to beat the Sharks if you're a contending team. And again, it's about, okay, so can I justify moving them into the top 10 after a shootout win over the Sharks? What about the OT win over the Sharks after that, where they were behind 6-3 in the third period? I couldn't justify it. I couldn't justify moving them up based on that. Then they beat the Ducks 6-2. Again, the Ducks are at the bottom of the board. When you beat teams that are at the bottom of the board, I feel like I'm having the same conversation in this video I did with Toronto fans early in the season. Toronto went through California. They swept all 3 games. I did not move them up in the power rankings. There's other teams that have gone through California this year. They've swept all 3 games, and I have not moved them up in the power rankings because all 3 California teams kind of mediocre and bad at home. And again, it's about, okay, can I justify moving them past these other teams based on those wins? And the answer was no. So that's why they stayed in place. This is after, of course, before this winning streak, they had a 5-1 loss against the Avs. One thing with Dallas that's been an issue for them this year is they don't have a good record against teams that are really good teams, really strong teams. Darryl Ray was talking about that, I think, during the game against the Avalanche, how the Dallas Stars don't perform particularly well against the really strong teams. They get their points usually against the lower ranked teams. And that's what a lot of this winning streak has been. 2 of them over the Sharks, 1 of them over the Ducks. Wins are wins and points are points, and that matters in the standings. But again, for what I do with the power rankings, I have to take a look and say, does this mean, does the 7-6 overtime win over San Jose mean they should move up past a team in Nashville who haven't lost in regulation in 11? And the answer to me was no. Now, on Tuesday, they're at home against Florida. So that will tell us if Dallas is really and truly getting into contention. That's a really good test. Thursday, they're at home against New Jersey. And then Saturday, they're at home against LA. And I highlight those 3 games because there's people who comment on the power rankings who I think figure that the Saturday games aren't included, but they are. I update the power rankings after all the Saturday games are done, and then I upload. So the power rankings are from today until Saturday, and then the power rankings. That's why the power rankings are at night. If they were, say, Saturday to Friday, I would do the power rankings Saturday morning. And I've had people ask me why I don't do that. And the reality is that the power rankings as they're currently constituted, it's the biggest video I do every week on Saturday nights. I know there's a lot of people who get up Sunday morning and they watch that first thing Sunday morning, and clearly they rage about it. But it's a formula that's worked for the last 5+ years, and I don't want to mess it up. I've watched YouTubers mess up their channel with changing schedules and changing what they cover. Sometimes I've seen where, we're going to cover this now, and I'm thinking, why? No, your formula works. Why are you changing this? And I don't leave nasty comments. I've never left a nasty comment on any channel ever. I don't. If I've unsubscribed from a channel, I've never left a comment telling people because I'm not in an airport. I don't have to announce my departure. And so, the power rankings stay on Saturday nights. Yesterday was tough because it was 12 hours of watching hockey and getting all that uploaded and all that. And then it's the power rankings after that, knowing I had 1 hour less of sleep I was going to get, and I had to get up early this morning and watch hockey again. and then the comments and the power rankings. I've stayed out of it for the most part, and I probably should, to be honest. The other thing I've debated is, way back when I started the power rankings, if a fan base was really, really mad about where they were in the power rankings, I just didn't rank that team the week after. I'd be like, all right, I just won't rank that team because I feel like, all right, well, people don't feel like I can be trusted to rank that team. I just won't rank them this week. But I don't want to do that because it feels like that was something I could do when my channel was a lot smaller. I don't feel like I could do that now. I feel like that wouldn't come across as very professional. So, at any rate, thank you guys so much for all your support as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I promise there's no weird. He's overly judgmental of this team, and I just it's power rankings. I update them daily. And for instance, if Nashville today were to lose this one against Minnesota, the second period just started. But if they were to lose this one by a score of say 7-1, then clearly Nashville would drop. Dallas would move up to 10th. But again, thank you guys so much for all your support. I know majority of people watching my power rankings understand how they're done, when they're done, and why I do things the way I do them. But it can get kind of noisy at times, and it can get very discouraging for me personally, where I'm like, why do I do this? So at any rate, thank you guys for all your support, and I will talk to you again soon.